Hello everyone, welcome to Raaonline. I'm Dr. Abhinaya. I'm a consultant pediatrician. So in Nelson-based pediatric teaching, in the chapter discussion on respiratory system, the topic of discussion now is on recurrent pneumonia. So this presentation will be about recurrent pneumonia and persistent pneumonia, where we'll be starting with what are the basic definitions, like what is recurrent pneumonia, what is persistent pneumonia, and how are you going to approach. So in case a recurrent pneumonia which involves a single lobe or a same lobar involvement, or if it is a multi-lobar involvement, how are we going to approach the investigations and management. So let's get started. So first I'll tell you what are the definitions. So recurrent pneumonia is either 2 or more episodes of pneumonia in 12 months. So in a year, if a child gets at least 2 episodes or more than 2 episodes, you can call it as a recurrent pneumonia. In case this is one way of defining it. The one more definition is 3 episodes altogether. So in any frame of time, you need not fix a time. So you have been following a child, say from 2 years, now the child is 5 years, and you retrospectively look at the child's history and you find that the child had 3 episodes of pneumonia in any time frame, and between these episodes of pneumonia, the child had a radiographic clearance. The child was well clinically and there is a radiographic clearance. So this is very, very important because this is the key point which will differentiate a recurrent pneumonia from a persistent pneumonia. Okay. So what is a persistent pneumonia? Persistence, the word means it is continuing. The process is ongoing. So any persistent pneumonia, there is persistence of symptoms and, so this is and, so there should be symptoms and there are radiological changes which is continuing for at least 6 weeks. There are some definitions which say 4 weeks, there are some definitions of 6 weeks, but we can take it as 6 weeks because I'll be talking about etiology of some common etiological organisms of some common pneumonia and how well these organisms they get cleared. So how soon they get cleared or how long these organisms which has caused the radiological features stay. So we can take it as 6 weeks. 4 weeks will be too low. Okay. So this is also an acceptable definition. So a child who has clinical symptoms persisting, the radiological features are also persisting for at least 6 weeks or more than 6 weeks despite good treatment. You are giving adequate treatment despite the treatment, the symptoms, and if the radiological features continue, then it is called persistent pneumonia. Recurrent pneumonia is there is one episode of pneumonia, there is one more episode of pneumonia, and in between these episodes there is completely the radiological clearance is there. So you, in case there is an X-ray in between these 2 episodes, it shows a complete normal lung parenchyma. Okay. So this definition definitely everybody should know, and this is going to be the foundation in which we are going to build up our approaches, right? Most often I would say that the causes or the etiology for recurrent pneumonia and persistent pneumonia, there is a considerable overlap. But there are some causes which pertain only to persistent, some causes which pertain only to recurrent pneumonia. So only by the symptom-free interval, you are going to define what is a recurrent pneumonia and what is a persistent pneumonia, right? And one other very, very common reason, we are going to talk about all the etiologies, etc. But first of all, we have to check if the treatment was adequate, right? You are treating a pneumonia. If the treatment was appropriate, was the organism sensitive to the antibiotic given, was the duration adequate, was the compliance checked. So the appropriate treatment should be given and the treatment should be completed. So we have to confirm this statement before labeling it as a recurrent or a persistent pneumonia. And most often when we come across children, most often this is a cause. They wouldn't have finished the treatment, or they would have, the complaints would have been poor, or the antibiotics that had given was only partially sensitive. Okay. So very, very important cause in our country especially is the inappropriate or incomplete